7 says, be not ye therefore partakers with them. Where'd you leave off at?
Verse 8.
Oh, okay. Go
That's
ahead.
where I stopped. Verse 9, for the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving what is acceptable unto Yah, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light. For whatsoever doth make manifest is light. Wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepeth, and arise from the dead, and Yahshua shall give thee light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of Yah is. And be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit, speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to Yah, giving thanks always for all things unto Yah and the Father, in the name of Yahshua the Messiah.
Okay, that's good. Now, I want to go to this Schoolmaster thing, and then we're going to go to Hebrews and get to that one verse that I was trying to get to. Okay.
Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Yahshua, that we might be justified by faith.
Okay. So the law was our schoolmaster. So if you read that, that one verse, and I continue, it makes it look like saying, now that Yahshua's here, we're not under the law. Right? Doesn't it look like it's saying that? The law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto the Messiah, that we might be justified by faith. See, now that the Messiah here, we justified by faith. Here's a question. Let me ask a dumb question. Did the Most High tell anybody to live by faith before this? Did the Most High tell anybody to live by faith? Just shall live by faith. All right? He told him so. Faith is nothing new. Right? Shall we prove it? Yeah, we will. Okay. Okay. One verse. I'll read it. This is the prophet Habakkuk. Okay. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just, right, shall live by his faith. So what is that saying? Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright. The soul which is lifted up, right? How do you become lifted up?
Pride.
Pride. So pride says what? You don't have to obey that law. We're under grace now. And then those of us who are trying to teach people to obey the Most High's laws, we get labeled as being Judaizers and legalistic and the whole rigmarole, right? But the Most High said, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. But, there goes that kicker again. Every time you hear that, see that word, but, there's some kicking going on. That's my line. Every time you hear that word, but, there's some kicking going on. So he said, he that is lifted up is not upright in him. But, in other words, there is no righteousness in him because you uplifted with pride. But the just, what's the word for just? Lawful. righteous, right? Those who are right. I think in the Scriptures version, what does it say in the Scriptures version? It says, back 2:4, it says the just. This is the Bible in basic English. It says, as for the man of pride, my soul has no pleasure in him. But the upright man will have life through his good faith. All right, let's go to another version. Let's see. Let's look at... that was the Bible in basic English version. I got so many of them in here. I can't. How do I get over? Okay, let's see. Let's look at the modern King James version. Behold, the soul of him is lifted up and is not upright, but the just shall live by his faith. Okay, that's good. Scriptures version says, see whose being is not upright in him is puffed up, but the righteous ones live by his steadfastness. Okay, that's the Scriptures version. All right. So what is it saying? The just, those who are righteous, right, shall live by faith. Okay, which is the Hebrew word imuna, which means firmness, security, fidelity. Okay, so now we read in Galatians 3:23 and 24, which says, wherefore the law was our schoolmaster, right, to bring us unto the Messiah, that we might be justified by faith, right? So once again, we already addressed that faith is not something new, just like grace is not something new, right? The Most High told the prophet Habakkuk that the just shall live by faith, right? So how is it that is so? In other words, so what I want to ask is there something different between faith and obeying the Most High's law? Because the same person, it takes faith to be obedient, wouldn't you say? Even when your members don't want to serve, want to obey the Most High. I mean, the flesh. Even Shaul said, "What? I bring my body under subjection, lest that I might be cast away." You can't get around it. Okay, so now we're going to read the next verse, Galatians 3:25.
But after that faith is come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster.
So how do you know when your faith has come? You're under the schoolmaster until your faith comes. So the question you got to ask is, has your faith come? All right, keep reading.
For ye are all the children of Yah by faith through Yahshua the Messiah. Mm-hmm. For as many as of you as have been baptized into Yahshua have put on Yahshua. Mm-hmm. Therefore there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Yahshua the Messiah. Mm-hmm. If ye be Yahshua's, then ye are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise.
Okay. So now, the schoolmaster is there until faith comes. Okay. Now, the faith, he says here, for you are the children of Yah by faith in Yahshua. How is that? We already explained that. When you understand that Yahshua is the last Adam, you understand how that all man was put back into the position of the first Adam. So even those that don't know, they're in a position. But once you know, now you are held accountable. If you don't believe in Yahshua, and you can't offer no sacrifice, so you in your sins, right? So the schoolmaster is designed to do what? To bring us to faith. And faith is just simply just obeying the Father. In a nutshell, it's not something mystical. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things that you don't see. I mean, it's a religious definition, but okay. Let's go to Hebrews 8 through 16. Hebrews 8 through 16.
Above, when he said, sacrifice and offering and burnt offering and offering for sin thou wouldest not, neither hadst pleasure therein, which are offered by the law. Then said he, Lo, I come to do the will of Yah. He taketh away the first, that he may establish the second, by the which will we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Yahshua the Messiah once for all. And every priest standeth daily ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifices, which can never take away sins. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of Yah, from henceforth expecting till his enemies be made his footstool. For by one offering he hath perfected forever them that are sanctified, whereof the Ruach...
Wait, read that again.
For by one offering he hath perfected forever them that are sanctified.
Oh, so he perfected, by his offering, he perfected them who are sanctified? What does that mean? So, in other words, what I'm getting at is he didn't perfect those who are not sanctified. So the perfection is only for those that are sanctified. That's what I'm getting out of that. Right? So how do you be sanctified? All right, go ahead.
Whereof the Ruach also is a witness to us, for after that he had said before, this is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, saith Yah. I will put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds will I write them, and their sins and iniquities will I remember no more.
Good. What verse was that?
17.
That was 17. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Now where remission of these is, there is no more offering for sin. Having therefore, brethren, boldness to enter into the holiest by the blood of Yahshua, by a new and living way, which he has consecrated for us, through the veil, that is to say, his flesh, and having an high priest over the house of Yah. Let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience, and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins.
He says, after you have sinned, what was that verse? Willfully.
There is no more sacrifice for sin.
No more sacrifice for sin. So there is no sacrifice for willful disobedience. That's what it's talking about. And we're going to show in the book of the law where there was no sacrifice for willful disobedience. The only sacrifice was obeying. There's no sacrifice for sinning willfully. So Yahshua didn't come to die for willful disobedience. That's why I pulled those epistles of Shaul out in Colossians and Ephesians, where he said that the wrath of Yah come upon the children of disobedience. There is no sacrifice for disobedience. Only sacrifice is obeying. Most High is not going to cover you. You're not covered. That's why he said, if you sin willfully, there is no sacrifice for sin. If we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin. So in ignorance, you're covered. But when you get the knowledge that what you're doing is sin, there is no sacrifice. You go into the lake of fire, where the disobedient go. Stop disobeying the Most High. I don't know why is that so hard to understand that. We obey man's laws. Policeman pull up behind you, that blue light flashing, red, blue light, whatever was it, red and blue and white, or red and blue. What am I doing? Looking at the speed, looking at the speedometer. Do I have my seatbelt on? Right? When it comes to the Most High, oh, we on the grace. I don't worry about that. Why does the Most High got to be the loser? Okay. So now, what I wanted to close out with was 13, Hebrews 13. Okay. 8 through, Hebrews 13, 8 through 16. Okay.
Yahshua the Messiah is the same yesterday and today and forever.
He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So if he is the same, and he says that you don't have to keep the law, that's not making him the same. It's making him different, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
Be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines, for it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace, not with meats, which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. Okay,
stop. That's not talking about eating pork. You don't see pork. Do you see pork in that verse? Because people use this as, see, is it? First of all, Shaul would have never, being an Israelite, being a Pharisee, walking in the law, would have never told anybody to eat pork, a pork chop. He's talking about meats that Yah blessed to be received according to the law. Not eating what you want to eat, just praying over it. That's what he's talking about. Not, he said, let your heart be established with grace, not with meats which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. So yeah. And when we talk about meats in the Hebrew, we're not talking about blood food anyway. We'll show you the meat offering is talking about grains and drink offerings. That's the meat he's talking about. That's not even talking about eating pork or eating chitterlings or any of that. The meat he's talking about is the meat offering. We're going to show you that, okay, in the next segment. Okay. So, verse 10.
We have an altar whereof they have no right to eat, which serve the tabernacle. For the bodies of those beasts whose blood is brought into the sanctuary by the high priest for sin are burned without the camp. Wherefore Yahshua also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood, suffered without the gate. Let us go forth therefore unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach. For here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifices of praise to Yah continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name.
Let me stop there for a second. So verse 14, that's a revelation right there. For here we have no continuing city. You know what that's talking about? You know what it's talking about? I know you know it.
Yeah, I believe so.
Revelation said he looked up and saw New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven. The city that the Most High made, city is four square. That's what he's talking about. That he already knew that land was wicked, was about to be taken over by the Gentiles. So the future hope is that for Israelites to see the New Jerusalem coming down and the Father coming down to dwell with Israel and with the inhabitants of the earth. So that's why he said we have no continuing city. This city's going to be destroyed. Okay, go ahead, next verse.
By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to Yah continually, that is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name, but to do good and to communicate forget not. For with such sacrifices Yah is well pleased.
See that? See that? That's all you need to read. So he's saying the sacrifice of praise, the fruit of our lips, right? That's what we do. We meet on the Shabbat. You know, we praise the Most High through song and thanksgiving. For those that don't sing or can't sing, right? Everybody can't sing. I wouldn't want to hear some Hebrews sing. It pierces my ears. I'm a musician, so I mean I don't want everybody singing. But so he said the sacrifice of praise to Yah continually, the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. So he didn't say nothing about singing. He said the sacrifice of praise, right? The fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. Then he says, and to do good. Okay. To do good, and then to communicate. What is that word for communicate? It's the word koinonia. It's a partnership, a participation, or a social intercourse. Right? So that's what he said. To communicate means to fellowship or have partnership, right? To do good and to communicate. So to obey, the doing good part is obeying the Most High, and the communication part is the fellowship part with the other brothers and sisters, which is what we desire to do. But it's so hard sometimes for us to fellowship with other people because, for whatever the reason is, you know, it seems like we as Israelites come together in one building, it just goes crazy. People get all these preconceived ideas, and this, we don't let this happen in here, we don't do this in here. Rather than, you know, us learning how to fellowship with each other. We got all these different rules and regulations. You know, women got to have their head covered, men got to take the cover off, the whole 9 yards. Sometimes we just don't want to. Sometimes it just kills the Shabbat instead of us just learning how to fellowship with each other. We're all trying to obey the Most High. We're all trying to walk his statutes, laws, and commandments. Right? So he said, with such sacrifices, Yah is well pleased. He's pleased with those sacrifices, sacrifice of praise, us doing good, us communicating or fellowship with other brothers and sisters. So that's how we sacrifice in the lands of captivity. We don't offer the animals, right? But the sacrifices will start back up during the millennial reign. Okay, we'll deal with that in another lesson too. But so that's all I have for this segment. So until the next time, may the blessings of the Most High Yah be with you and your family. Shalom, shalom, shalom.